Hey everybody, today I have a really fun topic for you. Today I'm going to teach you about something that I guarantee you've never heard of before, and for me it's honestly one of my favorite terms in the community. And this is going to be one that's going to absolutely spike DHV. And what that means is it's going to absolutely drive up your display of higher value. It's going to give you a status that you've never had before, and it's really going to show the people that you work with, or your prospects rather, just what level of expertise, confidence, and value you possess. And we do that with a term that we call orbiters. Now in the pickup community, we would identify, we'd be out and we'd see a girl, and there's kind of a number of different chess pieces on the board. The girl that we're interested in, we call her our target. And we talk about all these terms in different videos. So if you haven't joined our community yet, I definitely recommend doing it. We really go into detail on all of this in one centralized private community. But the person that we're interested in, we identify that woman as the target. So it doesn't mean we're going to go up and immediately start talking to her, because that usually doesn't work. Or if, at the very least, it unnecessarily raises your level of difficulty just to a level that it's not worth doing that way. But it is the person who is our intended, the person that we're trying to connect with. Now, around that person, you also have what we call the obstacles. And I love these terms. And they're basically her friends. There are people there who are looking out for her. They're her best friend from college, her sorority sister, her coworker, her older sister. I mean, it could be literally her older sister. But it's somebody out there who are her friends. They're out doing things together, and they're looking out for her. And they're not going to let her get somebody get over on her who's a really low value guy. They're just not, and they're going to basically do the dirty work for her. Now, typically, the main player on this, the most alpha player in this group, is what we call a bit shield. So, and is what we call it. So that's just the term. And it's the woman who is going to basically, in the mob, they have the enforcers or the cleanup men. They're the person that's basically going to lay you out. They're going to blow you out. They're going to get ugly. They're going to yell, and they're really, they're just going to embarrass you. And there's ways to deal with all this. But around them are what we call orbiters. And what an orbiter is it's somebody who's not really a friend of the girl, but somebody who's hanging out with her. So it's not her close friends, but it's somebody, it could be a guy that's just around them, and maybe he's interested in her or not, but they're people that are kind of one degree of separation out. And these people basically are gutless turds. Most times than not, the orbiter is a guy, and they're a gutless turd. The guy doesn't have the confidence to approach the girl, or just and to engage her, and so he's just sitting out here in the orbit like Neptune or Jupiter or Saturn. And really the girl doesn't, she's already identified that person as a low value guy, and there's just no way. The concrete's settled, the glue is dried, that guy has no shot, but yet he's still hanging around. Why? Because he's not a threat. And so what you want to do is, how you win the girl over, without even trying is you're identifying, it's to understand, first of all, that the orbiters are low value. The girl knows that. All her friends know that. The only person that probably doesn't know that is the orbiter. But you're going over there and leveraging the conversation off of this low value orbiter. So, you're basically talking about, either this guy, I can tell this guy really has the hots for you, but he has no guts. Oh my gosh, look at how he's dressed, his shoes, whatever. I can't believe he's standing that way. Or it could be somebody who was an orbiter but's out there, but there's somebody in her sphere that you're basically pointing out low value to. And what that really says to the girl is that you are a high value person. It is a major display of high value. It is instant, what I call microwave DHV. It's a very, very fast way to display your higher value. So what this immediately does is, it's not you saying your higher value, but you are proving your higher value to her by identifying something in her world that she already knows but doesn't expect you to know. And by doing that, immediately, you're in a very select group. She gets very interested. Her attraction gets spiked immediately, and you're under consideration, and she's definitely engaged. Now, in sales, the idea is the same way. We have the exact same thing lined up. And this typically works in an area where you have, it could be a networking event, it could be a conference, what have you. But when you're there, and the one thing you're not doing is you're not doing the direct approach. I mean, you could do that if you want, but it's a really unnecessary degree of difficulty that really doesn't necessarily have any greater payoff than doing it the right way. But there's always orbiters. There's people there who are low value, who are desperate, who don't know what they're doing. They're there only for money, and they're just hoping to be able to get some business. And when you go to your target and you're identifying this, and you're able to spot the people that they just want no part of, the sleazy people, the people that have low confidence, bad body language, that are just pushy, and you're able to really identify this ahead of time, what you're doing is you're proving that DHV to them. You are absolutely proving that you are a high value person, and immediately all the things that they've thought but they didn't necessarily verbalize to anybody, you've gone out and basically just echoed everything that they know. Immediately they know they have a ton in common with you. You have to be high value if you're identifying and seeing the same things that they are. And now it's at a point where they're definitely going to be sitting here, the attraction switch, curiosity spiked, and they're definitely going to be interested in what you have. And they might even not know what you have. They may not know what company you work for, what you sell, or anything. And this is actually, once you have this, is where we lead into the disqualification. So if you're not part of our community yet, I definitely recommend you join, because we do talk about this. A lot of these things are awesome and they're great individually, but they blend together and they really work off of each other. So if you haven't joined our community, make sure you do that. But anyway, so once you do this and you have that attraction switch flipped, you're set. You stand out from the rest. In fact, you can do an immediate walk away. Literally disengage from the conversation, walk away. And if you do it right, most of the time, this person is actually going to find you, chase you down, either in person, over the phone, email, what have you, but they're going to actually start chasing you. And at that point, you really have the business in the bag if it's the right customer, if you want it, and if you want to sign up the person. But obviously, the next follow-up point is the disqualification sequence. So, and then even after that, it's what I call the sales seduction sequence. So, again, I want to introduce to you the concept of orbiters. So when you're out at a networking event or a convention or any group of people, the person who is your target, who was looking for a high value person to buy from, is basically surrounded by these low value orbiters that they want nothing a part of. But they can see all this, and it really it makes them kind of disappointed that it seems like everybody around them is low value. But going in and proactively identifying these orbiters and proving that DHV to the person is immediately going to put you in a massive consideration. That is, you're approaching them and immediately they're in a yes position. And then you get to follow that up, absolutely control and regulate that position at your discretion by using the disqualification sequence and the sales seduction sequence. So next time you're out, pay attention to the orbiters. And if you really want to dig in, I mean, a lot of this is great. You're going to learn stuff from this lesson. But if you really want to dig in, I definitely recommend buying the Attraction Switches series. It's going to go into probably six or so of the most powerful attraction switches, where you can learn to basically engineer somebody's subconscious so that they're starting off at a yes. Other than that, this is something that we cover in our community. And we go into great detail on this topic and some other topics, and really how they interact with each other. So if you have not joined yet, or if you're ready to do the Attraction Switches series, which I just completely recommend, it is the best jumping off point for the Negotiators Playbook, is go to the website, thenegotiatorsplaybook.com, go to the top of the page and click Attraction Switches. And when you do, basically you're going to have immediate access. I'm going to send you some login credentials, and you're going to have immediate access. You can get started right away. And if you're watching this and you're not in the community yet, I would recommend going to the website, thenegotiatorsplaybook.com, and click Join the Community. It's a private community. We have people in there all the time, but it's something where you're going to be able to have access to things that nobody's teaching, and it's just a way deeper, more intricate dive into the topics we have to make sure that we can turn your sales job into a passive income stream. So go ahead and get started. Other than that, I'll see you soon.